Hello, my name is Eric Gregg and I'd like to demonstrate our Rhinospirometer to you. The Rhinospirometer was developed in conjunction with the University of Cardiff in order to help determine whether someone who has a septal deviation will actually benefit from surgery or not. Very simply, we have basically a dual spirometer, spirometer being a system which measures volume. If we apply these transducers to the nose, one on each side, and ask the subject to breathe in deeply through their nose, the volume that is measured on each side will depend on whether the resistance is equal on both sides or whether there's a difference between the two. So it very quickly can determine for somebody who has a septal deviation whether or not the obstruction is severe enough to warrant surgery. First of all, the normal process would be to decongest the nose so that we're only looking at structure. The instrument consists of the transducer box with two meters on the front of it, but it can also be connected to software, which I'll now start up. We're able to enter patient information so that we can save the results and look at pre and post results. We have an acquire button which allows you to move towards the measurement. So we have two flow transducers, two antiviral filters, two nose pieces. The nose pieces sit on the outside of the nose. They are available in a couple of different sizes, and we also have a conical shaped nose piece for those whose nose is quite round instead of elongated. The software on the screen here shows two bar graphs, a left and a right side, and when I do the inspiration you will see that a blue block will arise out of the left side and a red out of the right. So 0 the meters if you want to use the meters to read the results from. Started the software, we can click on record, and then the process is to ask the subject to breathe out through the mouth, apply these to the nose, and breathe in fully. And we now have on the meter two readings, roughly 1.6 litres, and on the bar graph here, two blocks of colour, both of which are the same, virtually the same size. So at the present time, my nose is really fairly clear and equal on both sides. If one side had been more obstructed, then the bar graphs would show that difference. And at the bottom of the screen here, we are able to measure inspiratory volume for the left side and the right side, average flow for left and right, and peak flow for left and right. Following on from those different measurements, we have an NPR factor. This NPR factor is a nasal partitioning ratio, small calculation which takes the volumes from each side, does the calculation, compares it to the table of values that have been determined during clinical trials, and comes out at the extreme right hand side of the screen here with an outcome which is either an N for no, this patient is unlikely to benefit from surgery, or Y, this patient is likely to benefit from surgery. I did a simple single inspiration there. If you wish, you could ask the subject to do it over 2 or 3 breaths, depending on the levels of volumes that they achieve. And that way you can average out over the number of breaths. The thing to be careful about in using the Rhinospirometer obviously is that you want to apply this equally to both sides of the nose and avoid leakage if possible. And what is recommended would be that you would do this test perhaps 2 or 3 times and take the average outcome. But it's been found during clinical trials to be very beneficial and quite effective in determining whether someone will be likely to benefit from surgery or not. And if unnecessary surgery can be avoided, then obviously it avoids or saves the patient, the subject, a lot of trauma, and it will also save the hospital money.